Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Chafing Armor podcast. We are doing a couple of Meanwhile episodes. Our intrepid band had visited the City of Ruins to see what was going on, were chased by hideous centaurpedes, and almost killed. Once they escaped, and they're on their way to Jormungand. Meanwhile, these events have happened, where the city's magic users have been attacked, and Monet, the city magistrate, and Queen Skilpata have assigned investigators, the most unusual of which is a young prodigy tortle who seems to be some sort of investigative reporter. And in the last episode, Lil Reggie Macdougal was investigating and found several interesting clues. One implicating the captain, who is apparently over the trade at the port side of the lizard folk parish. Someone named Grazim, also at the top of the lizard folk parish. And then on his way to investigate Grazim, he smelled something odd coming from the restaurant level and found a strange construction site that reeked of rotten meat. And as he was trying to get in, he was then, at the end of the episode, accosted by two very large humanoids. One was an elephantine man, and the other was a very large lizard folk. So, that is where we will begin our episode. Lil Macdougal has been grabbed by both arms. One arm is in the hand of a very large lizard folk, and the other is in the very large, meaty hand of an elephantine in white robes edged in gold. And the elephantine has large tusks that are about 1.5 feet long, capped in gold, and they don't seem to be carrying any weapons, but they are easily lifting you up and carrying you with them.
Hey fellas, what's the big idea?
Hush now, little one. We're getting you to safety. You are drawing a lot of attention. The elephantine doesn't quite look down at you, but he's talking to you, and his trunk is thrashing back and forth in a fury.
Well, to play to Reggie Macdougal's strengths, which is intelligence, wisdom, and charisma-based skill checks, let's do an insight check on that, bringing you to safety part. 12.
You can't really tell anything. I mean, these two guys have just picked you up, and they are whisking you. They are taking you over to a gnomish lifter and wave at somebody, and they don't have to pay. They immediately are lifted straight up. You go up another 20 levels, and then they take you to another gnomish lifter where they don't pay and they don't acknowledge anybody, and they are taken all the way up to the top level.
Okay. Reggie looks to either side of him and says, "Hey, fellas, I appreciate you looking out for me, but I'm gonna want you guys to put me down right now, and I'll come with you and listen to what you have to say, but I'd like to do it on my own 2 feet, gotcha?"
And give me a perception or a persuasion roll.
Gotcha. 17.
They kind of look at each other, and then they look down at you, and they now lower you down to the ground where they were carrying you before by your upper arms quite easily.
Quite easily.
And they set you down, and the lizard folk turns to you and goes, "Please, don't try and run off. We are trying to help you and keep you safe. We understand what you're doing, but it is not safe for someone as little as you to be poking around in this business."
And whose business would that be?
The elephantine goes, "This is the business of death. This is the business of protecting all those we hold dear in this city safe, and protecting our profits and our margins."
Often too quite poised. Reggie nods and says, "Well, I'd love to get more details, but I understand if you'd prefer I get them out of your what? Your superiors? Your leaders?"
And they look at each other and they just laugh a little bit. They go, "All right, little MacDougal, come this way, and we'll lead you to our superior." And they start walking down the road, and they have let go of you, are not really waiting for you to catch up.
He follows. He's like, "Well, I don't have any specific leads, and these guys are taking me to somebody."
And so you follow them. You are on the uppermost level, this great walkway overlooking the sea of swords. You can look down below. You see the smoke of cook fires. You see ships down at the ports. You see ships out in the sea. You see the shell of Queen Skilpata, the living island, out in the bay. And you come to a set of very large, crafted oak doors, similar to what you saw down in the warehouse where the captain was. And these two doors, one has an airship carved on one side, and the other side has what seems to be a depiction of Queen Skilpata. And the two of them reach for the knobs and go in. And inside you see 6 guards on either side, draconian guards and lizard folk, very big guards in ornate armor. And these two that accosted you and carried you walk to the head of the room, and the elephantine walks around the desk and sits down, and the lizard folk goes over to a chair on the side and sits down and puts his feet up and says, "Come in, MacDougal. We have much to discuss."
Well, for starters, I like to get to know the people I'm working with. Please, my reputation precedes me, but yours not for me. What are you guys' names?
And they again laugh and go, "Haven't you guessed by now? Not very astute for an investigator. I am Grazim, the trader. I run all the airport here for all of our airships. I manage the trade. This, my dear friend, is Captain Malpazar Crom. He runs the shipping port."
Well, what a perfect occasion. Both of the fellas I'd like to talk with. Well, right in the same room. I imagine not a coinky-dink.
No, the captain was following you after you left his office. And we were curious to see how well you could follow your nose, as it were.
I sure did. Almost yanced. At that restaurant. You happen to be involved with any of that? You happen to know anything about that?
We know that it's trouble. And the lizard folk goes, "There are people my kin and children. Not my personal children, but the children of the lizard folk. We take care of our own. But there are those that want to get rich quick. Those that have been seduced by promises. Those who have been corrupted. And now all the lizard folk are watched by the other people of the city with great suspicion, as if all of us, those that had worked with them for years and years, might betray them at any moment.
A great tragedy. One of the many reasons I was happy to take on the case of finding out who is responsible for all of this trouble, so that we can clear the name of the lizard folk at large.
That restaurant that you were looking at, it leads back to the deep caves. It is connected almost directly to some of the darker places in our city's history. We do not call them the dark caves because the torches won't burn there, but because of what people have done in that darkness. There's a reason we like to spend our time on the verandas and mezzanines and walkways of the carved city. We like to smell the sea. We like to see the freedom of the people around us. But there were those who were seduced back in the darkness, back in the caves where there is foul air. That is what the problem is. That is where the problem is.
So, I imagine some of the people doing the seducing have something to do with this.
And he pulls out the centipede tar evil object.
And their eyes go wide. Where did you get that?
It was given to me as evidence from the magistrate.
So it's true. The Elephantine is addressing you now. You are actually working for Magistrate Monet.
Certainly.
That is unexpected. You do not seem to be the type that would deal with this darkness.
I seen some pretty dark things already in my approximately some dozen years of life.
They both look at each other and, are you sure, child, that you are ready for this? I mean, if the city magistrate has commissioned you, you must have the blessing of Her Majesty as well. But
Nods.
that is highly unusual. Very well. You must have some skill. So
You do know I solved the East Side Strangling, don't you?
And Grazim goes, I read the story. I did not give it much credit. It seemed almost too fantastical, much like the amount of lizard folk that are getting credit for having attacked the city. It was only a handful of rabble of the disenfranchised.
And they all had their heads chopped off, which makes me wonder if it's entirely possible that they were intentionally made unidentifiable.
We don't know if they actually got what they were seeking, or if those that did escape got their reward. I do know that we have discovered a tunnel in the middle of the airship yard that leads down into the deep caves. And the same smell that was coming out of that restaurant that was being constructed or used as a front, the smell wafts from this tunnel as well in the middle of the airfield.
Well, seems like a easier point of ingress than any of the windows, so I suppose that should be my next location.
I'm not sure which place would be more unexpected for a young tortle such as yourself. I guess you have the investigative skills. We can get you in the restaurant front, or we can lead you to the tunnel in the airfields. Which would you choose?
I imagine there's not much Reggie would know about I imagine nothing that Reggie would know about just the city itself, the restaurants or the airfield would let him lead him to expect anything about either of these places. So,
Well, roll me a knowledge history check.
yeah, right, intelligence, right. That is 8.
Nope, nothing springs to mind about the history of either one of those places.
Well, the way I sees it, there might be some prying eyes that have already seen me poking around in the restaurant, so they might expect me there. There anything else you two fellas can tell me about, perhaps, if you have any ideas as to why, all of the folks from the Magic District would have, bounties on their heads?
Well, as far as I can tell, Grazim leans back in his chair and puts his huge hands behind his head and contemplates, staring at the ceiling. Since trade is my business, I understand that if you want to cripple somebody, you disrupt the trade. And if you want to disrupt the magic trade, that speaks that something magical is going to happen, or has already happened. In the past, the magic users saved us from the Great Plague that killed the City of Ruins. So I would assume that whoever is targeting them has the same nefarious plans that they had many years ago. They plan to unleash a great dark plague upon us.
Certainly smelled plaguey. I wonder, do you know if you had a bounty on your head too?
I've had several bounties on my head over the years, but I can take care of myself, and I have plenty of security. You don't get to be my station without taking certain precautions.
Reggie nods to all the guards that I believe were mentioned in this room.
Yep. They're standing around the rooms, 2 at each corner, or 1 at each corner and 1 on each side. So, heavily armed and heavily trained.
Well, if there's any other insight you fellas can lend to me, I'd be happy to hear it, but I imagine this is a time-sensitive occasion, so perhaps you could do me the most service by helping me get into that airfield.
And the Grazim and Captain Malpazar get up and say, "This way." And
He gets up as well.
We trust that you will serve Her Majesty in the best of circumstances. And they lead you out and up another flight of stairs to the plateau above, where you see the airfield stretch out for the next 3 miles across the cliffs, and you see great, huge airships and small little skyships flittering this way and that up in the sky, lifting with golden wings and great gas balloons with fire and with magic. They're going in all directions. And Grazim and Captain Malpazar start leading you out across the field, and you can already detect that sickly sweet scent of rotting meat.
Oof!
And so
smells
as
like my nana's perfume on a hot day.
oh, I know that same perfume. My great aunt used to wear it.
Reggie grips his bardic instrument tightly in his hand, which happens to be a old-timey, low-tech megaphone, and in the other hand, his trusty notepad, and follows Grazim and the captain.
Child, do you want an escort?
Well, I am a pretty powerful bard in terms of spells, but I can't say that I'm the strongest of physical fight. So, if you offer it and you feel comfortable, that would make for a very balanced team.
And so Grazim raises his giant meaty hand, and up steps a draconian guard, possibly one of the ones you saw in his office. He is in full chainmail and has a sword and a shield, and Grazim goes, "This is one of my best. This is Shiloh Ignon. He
Pleasure to
is..."
make your acquaintance.
And the Draconian looks down at you and nods, and then looks at his boss and raises his eyebrows in question. And Grazim goes, "Yes, you will be escorting this young man who is serving our queen and is investigating. You are charged with his safety. Bring back any news and information. Do not put yourselves in unnecessary danger where the information that we need will be lost."
Much obliged. I'm not too interested in dying neither.
And the guard goes, "That's good to hear." So,
All right, Shiloh, I'll take the lead for now.
all right. So now you can smell the strong smell of this rotted meat, and you see a area that everybody seems to be avoiding as much as possible. And so you and Shiloh Ignon go to this hole in the ground. There is a wrought iron handrail that goes down into a circular spiral staircase.
Alrighty. Reggie makes sure to hold the handrail just as he was taught.
Okay. And it's pretty dark, but you see down below there are some torches lit.
Oh my gosh, Reggie can cast the first spell of the last hour and 40 minutes upon his he takes out his little investigative magnifying glass and casts the cantrip light. Gives a 20-foot radius, a 40-foot radius of light, brightest in the inner 20 radius.
Okay. And so, are you going to go down first, or are you going to let Shiloh go down first?
Let me go down first, because I got a pretty good eye and a set of two good ears. So if anything's gonna be jumping out of this, I'll hear it.
And as such, he is going to make a perception check, that encapsulates his keeping a listen and look out as he is descending this staircase.
Okay.
24.
You are spiraling down in darkness. There are tunnels that go off to the left and the right at various levels. It doesn't seem to be very consistent, but the smell is definitely coming from farther down below, and it is getting stronger. I need you all to, or I need you, and I'll roll for Shiloh, give me a Constitution check.
17.
And he gets a 16, and so you all are fine at the moment. It's not a pleasant smell. It is not a pleasant smell at all.
Not great.
So you are going down, and hold on just a second there. Lost my note. You're going down, and you finally get to a level, and it feels like you've been descending for about 30 minutes. And so you have a good sense of you were probably walking down to what would be equal to the restaurant level. And there is, the spiral staircase continues to go down, but the foul air is coming from the left or the right of you, and to the left you would assume would be the direction of the outside and the restaurant level. To the right, yeah, to the right would be a long tunnel, very large, that has torches and sconces on the walls, and you can see doorways on either side that are semi-finished. You get the feeling that you are in a relatively unfinished portion of the city.
I suppose we should continue towards the stake.
Okay. Roll me a survival check.
Yeah, that is a 18.
Okay. And so you can tell that there have been many feet traveling down this carved stone tunnel. To the right and to the left are doors about every 50 feet. Some, it looks like, are complete and go into other rooms, and some look incomplete, as if mere alcoves have been started and rock has been quarried, but no room has been taken. And the smell is getting worse, but if you are having an easier time because you're lower to the ground, and Shiloh is having to bend over and almost crawl on all fours to get under the stench of the smell that is becoming so overwhelming.
I see. Okay.
How's it hanging, buddy? You still with me?
Oh, this is horrible. What is that smell? It smells like the guard's locker room on a bad day. Oh, it's horrible.
I can't imagine it's anything natural.
We keep pushing onwards.
All right, and so you all are walking another 30 minutes, and you start to hear noises. You start
Happy
to
noises,
hear
friends.
grinding, and you start to hear screeching, but the sound, this tunnel seems to be getting slightly larger, but also descending down into the bedrock. And so it's widening, and it's almost like it's absorbing the sound because the space is so large. But the pallor of the stench of death hangs everywhere. The walls are becoming less and less refined, as if some great hand had carved out with giant gouges the walls and the walkway. It has gone from smooth and obviously carved by dwarves to now it is very rough-hewn and could have been carved by any primitive race.
Stop me if you've heard this before. I'm going to do a perception check for any signs of how close we are to, if all this screeching and grinding is like people doing business and work. Evil business, perhaps. How close we might be to them. That's a 17.
You get the idea that you're pretty close to what's going on. There seem to be more torches for this big space. It's giving off less light because the space is so large, but there are torches on wall sconces, and there are more and more. And you can see a light in the great room up ahead.
I'd like to make a stealth check to try and sneakily get a look into this lit area. Alright, I make a hand signal to Shiloh to wait just a little bit behind me.
Okay, roll me a persuasion check.
Oh, okay, sure. See, that is a... 9 p.m. is a time at which mental math becomes so hard for me. 20... Oh god, I'm just gonna pull out a calculator. I want to say that 9 plus 12 is 21, but man... Yes, a 21.
That's good. He needed a 17 because he had been ordered to take care of you and watch over you, so he was not going to let you go forward, but you beat a 17, so that's fine. So he goes over to the side. He has drawn his sword and motions for you to be quick about it.
I'll try not to attract too much attention to myself. If I do, then all holds are lost, and we'll see what happens there. But just for now, I'm gonna try to be a little sneaky like.
And that's off the tape that went. Let's see here. Alright, no whoopee cushions this time. Let's see here. Come on.
No whoopee cushions.
Ooh. Well, it's not a whoopee cushion, but it is an 8.
Okay, so you're going forward, and you don't see anybody, and so
Oh,
You're
goody.
creeping forward. Roll me a survival check.
Yeah. 18.
Directly in front of you is a tiny little string stretching the length of the floor from left to right.
Ooh, a tripwire. If I'm in eye shot of Shiloh, I indicate to him, I point at that.
It's fairly far, but you think he nods at you?
I'm gonna do a so am I in the lit room now?
Once you cross past the tripwire, you will be in the grand room. And you're getting a good look in the dim light at what's going on in here.
Yeah, I guess if I can see in there from here, I'd like to do another perception check. I don't want to go into this room completely unprepared, unknowing. So I bet there are bad guys that want to kill me in there.
And
that's a 16.
As you're looking around, you look to your left and your right, and there are 2 guards coming straight towards you. 2 very large lizard folk with spears.
Goody.
Roll for initiative. Your stealth check didn't keep you hidden.
No. That's just the dex modifier, right? Yeah, I think you add your proficiency, do you? That's a 5.
All right. And Shiloh rolled a 19, so that's good for you.
Oh, apparently, actually, I guess that's a 7. Apparently, bards, I knew that they added other skills. I had half my proficiency bonus to other stuff, but the internet is telling me that Jack of all trades also gives me a +2 to proficiency. So
right.
That's a 7.
All right. And the guard on the left rolled a 20. The guard on the right rolled an 11. Okay. And so Black goes first. The black guard, he's in black leather with dark green and a spear. And he comes up to you and he rolls a 19.
That'll do it.
Okay. And he does 9 points of damage.
Wait.
9 points of piercing damage.
Yes. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have any kind of resistances to any damage. He's down to a measly 91 hit points.
Ah, so this will be a battle. All right.
That is a question. We are using the same rule of max HP
Yes.
increase each time, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, then yes, he is at a measly 91 hit points.
Good. This should be fun. All right.
Yippee.
So Shiloh comes running forward and sets off the tripwire.
Oh, crud!
And the alarm goes off. There are bells, and you hear shouts. And he runs up to the guard that attacked you and says, "We need to get out here." And he swings his sword and hits and does 2d8. That's 13 plus. And there is a thunderclap as his sword strikes. And the guard that attacked you is knocked back 10 feet. And he takes 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 21 points of damage. Okay. And now it is the lizard folk in the gray armor's turn to attack. And he rolls a 12. Does that hit?
No.
Okay, and he misses. He whiffs at you with his spear. And now it is your turn, MacDougal.
All right. Am I pretty? I'm in like melee range. Oh. Wait.
The gray one is right next to you. The one in gray armor is right next to you. The one in black armor was knocked away 10 feet.
Okay. Yeah, and I imagine Shiloh is within 15 feet of me, though.
Shiloh is right. So it's Shiloh is right next to you, and the garden gray is between the two of you, kind of right between you.
Yeah, okay. Probably shouldn't start with a 4th level. Wait, I do have spell slots. It's always a fun thing. Like, ooh, I wonder if I'll ever have a chance to regain spell slots in this short amount of time.
Okay.
Let's just do a simple on the black armor guard, or no, the gray armor guard. I am going to cast Dissonant Whispers. I hold up my megaphone to my mouth and let out my mouth is moving, but only he can hear as I whisper a discordant melody. Or I suppose as a non-musically oriented bard, it's probably more like psyching him out, like,
"You're gonna trip on your shoelaces, bub."
And now he needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
While I quickly calculate my spell save DC.
He doesn't have very high wisdom. It's just a 10.
That does not save, so he's going to need to take 3d6 psychic damage.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? This is a dangerous time. I'm gonna cast this as a 2nd level spell, so he's gonna take 4d6 psychic damage.
All right.
5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2. Wow, really down there. That's 14 points of psychic damage, and he now must use its reaction to move as far as its speed allows away from him.
Okay, so that would be 30 feet. You can run away. How much damage did you say?
14.
14 points of damage. All right, and roll me a d6, please.
Cool. 3.
3 more guards come running down the hall towards you.
Cool.
And they will be in combat range in the next round, which is now.
Cool.
They will be in that middle. They are all wearing the gray armor, similar gray armor, and they will have that same initiative.
Gotcha.
Okay. And so the guard in the black armor charges towards Shiloh and attacks and hits with a 19. Does 9 points of damage. Shiloh does not look like he even felt that.
Mm-hmm.
So Shiloh returns the attack and hits for a 16 and does 2d8 plus 8 damage. And that is 15 plus 8 is 23. The guard in the black armor is knocked back and he is knocked prone, and he looks like he is barely able to move. Okay? And so now the guard that ran away that you hit with Dissonant Whispers is yelling at the others to attack you. And so there are 4 of them that are getting ready to surround you. And they roll a collective 14. Does that hit you?
No, it does not. I am made of powerful scoots. I think that's what Minecraft taught me. That's what turtle shells are made of. I don't actually know what the name of the material is.
All right. And so they all attack you, but miss, and they miss Shiloh as well. So it is your turn.
Apparently it's keratin. Okay, so I've got like 3 guys on me. Or
3 guys on you, and the 4th one is working his courage to get back into combat.
Okay. I am going to cast a 3rd level spell. Well, a 2nd level spell in a 3rd level spell slot, because this seems like I do not want to be ganged up upon. So I'm gonna pull out some of the big guns at least. I'm going to cast Cloud of Daggers, which is a 5x5 cube, hoping to engulf at least these 3 guys. And because they are, let's see. They will take 4d4 slashing damage when they enter the spell's area for the first time on a turn, or starts its turn there, which means that they are going to take because it's a 3rd level spell, they are going to take 6d4 slashing damage when they start their next turn.
Okay. Do you roll that, or do I?
I suppose I can roll that.
Okay.
So, that is my action. Or I guess they're probably close enough to me that I would incur an attack of opportunity if I moved away.
Yeah, if you moved, they would be able to attack you, so it doesn't take effect on your turn, it takes effect on theirs?
It appears so, based on the semi-ambiguous wording of 44 slashing damage when it enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn, or starts its turn there. I mean, I guess on a turn could mean my turn too, so I could go ahead and calculate that.
Okay, so it's probably on each turn that they're affected, so yes, do that on your turn.
Cool.
And it's only the 3 of them.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. 3 plus 4, let's see. 4, that's 7. 7 plus 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's 17 points of damage for each of you.
They're looking terrible. Those 3 are cut up really bad.
If only I could have come up quicker with a cutting remark for this.
Ooh, almost psychic damage.
And that is the end of Lil Reggie Macdougal's turn.
Okay. Roll me a d6, please.
Yes. Oh, that's a whammy. 5.
Now roll me a, say high or low.
High.
And I am going to roll a d6. 1, 2, 3, they're coming from behind you, and 4, 5, and 6, they're coming from the same direction as the other guards.
Cool.
And that is a 1, and they are coming from behind you.
Splendiferous. This is a bad situation that Reggie Macdougal is in.
And so, the black guard, the guard in the black armor gets up, and that's half his movement. And he gets halfway back to you. So, that's 15. No, he gets back to you. He was only knocked away 10 feet. So he actually gets back and pulls out a little bauble and throws it at you. And that is a 10. So that does not hit.
No.
And so this little vial goes just over your head because you're a little thing, and crashes to the floor behind you, and you hear the hissing of acid.
Acid, huh? Gives me some ideas.
And so Shiloh steps up to him and swings and misses with an 8.
No good. No good.
No good. No good. Even with the pluses, he doesn't get up to the guard's armor. So that is not good. And now you have 4 more guards in the gray armor. So you are up to 7 of them. And then there is another one in dark black armor.
Okay, so I remember that there's a gray guard who's looking bad. Black armor guard just threw a vial at me. I sent daggers at 3 guys, and then was that the 4 guys behind me?
Yeah, there's 4 guards coming up behind you and Shiloh. And so the 4 in front of you, the original one that you scared off, he has come back into combat. And the 3 in front of you that were struck by the daggers, they're not looking good. But they're going to strike at you, and that is a collective 16.
Just doesn't hit.
Ooh. Alright. And the new black guard will go on the other one's turn. The new dark armored guard. And so it is now your turn.
Alrighty. Reggie Macdougal is feeling deeply threatened by this situation.
I know a thing or two about acid, except I tend to do it a little more like this.
And the four guys behind me, he is going to cast Vitriolic Sphere, which is one of the spells that, as a bard, he has access to from a non-bard spell list.
Very cool.
Vitriolic Sphere creates a glowing 1-foot ball of emerald acid, and then that explodes in a 20-foot radius. So he's obviously going to aim it such that the four guys behind him are hit, but he is not.
Okay.
All of them are going to need to make dexterity saving throws. DC 16.
Okay. And they pass with a 17, so they take half
okay,
damage.
Yes, indeed. Half damage, and they don't have to take damage on the end of their next turn. You know what? I'm going to use digital dice for this, because this is 10d4 acid damage. Let's see what Google Dice does for me here. That is 29 points of damage. Oh, wait, sorry. 29 divided by 2, which is a measly 14.
They do not look happy. It splashes on them. It gets on their skin. It eats into them. Their armor is damaged. Their jerkins, their shirts are damaged. They are not happy, but they're angry now, and they are charging up at you.
Gotcha. I don't think Reggie Macdougal has any bonus actions, so that's the end of his turn.
All right. Roll me a d6, please.
Yeah. 1. That's a happy number here.
Ooh. Okay. Down the hall, coming out of the large room, you see a tall, slender lizard folk in a red robe and a red hood coming towards you.
You seem like a boss man of some kind. Maybe you can enlighten us on the situation.
And
He's
their
shouting
initiative is a 17, so they will go after Shiloh and before the Grey Guards.
Cool.
All right, and so the black guards
about 4
get
of
to
those.
attack. No, there's just 2 of them. There's just the 2.
Did Shiloh dispatch some of them?
No, he knocked one back, but he missed the second one.
Though, I wonder, the 3 that were in Cloud of Daggers, do you think that, I guess by the, since they start their turn there.
Oh, that's right. Forgot to resolve Cloud of Daggers.
So, because they took 44 damage or 64 damage when they entered the spell's area for this first time when I cast it, but now that they've started their turn there, I think that would be another 64.
Okay. It's not their turn yet.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Did you just cast? No, you cast. So yeah, we need to resolve that. They had a turn in there. So yeah. So the 4 in front of you would have been in that Cloud of Daggers. So yeah, do whatever damage.
64 is 14.
And the 4 in front of you are sliced to bits, and they drop. Their throats are cut. Their eyes are slashed. They just take nasty damage, and it looks like they have been through a cloud of razors, literally, and they just collapse to the ground, bleeding incessantly.
And the Cloud of Daggers gently dissipates into the mist.
Okay, and so now the 2 black guards are going to attack Shiloh, and they roll a 6. Oh, even with their plus, they only get a 10. So, Shiloh's turn, and he swings at 1, and he does 2d8 plus 8 damage, and cuts down one of them, and he is just blasted back, and dead. So,
Splendiferous.
one of the black guards. And now it is the red-robed lizard folks' attack.
How many black guards are left?
One.
One. Okay, cool. Beautiful.
And that is a nat 20. And they didn't need it. They are casting Fireball right in the middle of you all.
Whoopee!
And so...
We love getting burnt to a crisp. Is that a some kind of check upon myself?
Yeah, I believe it's a dexterity.
Let's see here.
So, let's see...
Yeah, dexterity saving throw. Each
Yeah,
creature in a 20-foot radius.
So, everybody rolls a dexterity saving throw.
Whoopee!
So, Shiloh fails his dexterity saving throw. The black guard fails his saving throw. The gray guards behind you pass their saving throw. 8d6.
Now, here's a fun question. I'm sure the DC couldn't happen to be a 6, right? Because I got a 7.
No. The dexterity check is 16.
Oh, 7, 16.
Alright.
Reggie's gonna be turtle in a half shell soon.
That is 24 points of fire damage for those who passed their dexterity, and 48... No, that's backwards. It is 24 for those that didn't pass, and 12 points for their those that did pass.
Ouchie Walla! It's like a sunboy, except if a sunboy could hate ya!
I'm now at 67 hit points.
Right? And the gray guards that hit you from behind, or that you hit from behind with the acid, they all drop, either dead or unconscious. Shiloh looks a little toasty, but is not in bad condition. And the black guard in front of you drops.
Splendid. So we're just with the red robe guy now.
Yeah, and he is about 70 feet away.
Gotcha. Whose turn?
It is now your turn because all the gray guards are down.
Awesome. Let's see here. This dude seems like bad news. So I'm going to do another 4th level spell. Actually, you know what? First, just as a bonus action, he's just gonna call out and say, like,
Hey jerk! What's your deal? Why don't we try to resolve this peacefully?
And, do you want to make a dialogue?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that counts as a action or not. I do have an action I can take if that would be more combat oriented, but, I think Reggie would try to at least get this dude, see what could happen on a more peaceful level.
And so the lizard folk in the red robe shouts, "Die in the name of Daneth Cool."
Okay, that
answers my question. Tried to do it the easy way.
Reggie casts Raeluthim's Psychic Lance, a 4th level enchantment spell. Let's see here. I imagine that his last sentence was spoken through his bardic tool of the megaphone, and a bright, shimmering light emanates from his forehead and creates a beautiful, elegant, shimmering lance. It has a range of 120 feet. And I need this fella to make an intelligence saving throw.
Okay. What's the DC?
That's my spell save DC, which is 16.
Okay. And they fail that with a 15.
Beautiful! He's going to take a lot of psychic damage. That is 7d6. 7d6. Thank you, Google, for doing that math for me. That is 24 psychic damage, and he is incapacitated until the start of my next turn. He is so deeply rattled by psychic damage.
Okay.
And Reggie is also going to use his move action to step back a little, now that that's a possibility. Or actually, I think he's going to move into range of wherever Shiloh is.
Okay, Shiloh, you and Shiloh are still shoulder to shoulder. Or, in your case, your shoulder to his hip because he's quite a bit taller than you.
I'm going to step back just like 5 feet, but still pretty close to Shiloh.
Okay. And roll me a d8.
6.
Okay. There are 6 more people running towards you from past the red magic user, and they are all carrying very massive weapons.
That's no good. I don't have that. I only have one more 4th level spell. Maybe we should get out of here.
Okay. And so, let me roll where they are in the initiative. And they roll a 7. What's your dexterity?
7. My dexterity. Or do you mean... -1.
Okay, they are going to go before you in the initiative.
Yippee.
And they are all carrying massively big weapons, and they are wearing what appears to be chainmail, and they are all lizard folk.
A lot of lizards.
And so we are back to the top of the order, and that is Shiloh. And Shiloh turns and says, "We need to run."
I agree.
All right. And what is your movement, McDougal?
30 feet of movement speed.
Okay. All right. So we're going to be running, and let's see the best way to resolve this. They're chasing you, and you all are running. So are you going to do a full-on run?
I would think so.
Okay. So you all are going to be moving 60 feet around, and roll me a survival check to see if there are any more guards in front of you.
No whammies, no whammies, no whammies, big money. Let's see if I can do mental math here. 11.
Ooh, you just above the 10, so there are no guards currently in front of you.
Beautiful. And at the very least, the red robe guy has, 10 extra seconds, -10 of a head start on us, since he is still under the effect of rail from second place. Or is it 10 seconds? 6 seconds. I think 6 seconds.
At least six more seconds. And you all are booking it, and the guards with the heavy weapons and the chainmail are chasing after you. So, let's see. Roll me a d6 to see how long it takes you to get to the circular staircase.
That's a 6. The worst of them.
Yeah. So it is going to take you a good 15 minutes to get to the circular staircase at a full-out run.
I can cast a spell that would be helpful in this scenario, but of course that would cause me to have to stop instantaneously cast a spell.
Yeah.
Let's see, I have 2 spells that could be good here. How wide is the room we're in?
The section you are now in, as you've run a little bit, is narrowing back down to about 30 feet.
Time for one of Reggie Macdougal's 5th levels spells. Yes, Reggie Macdougal is going to show off his other spell that he can cast. One of his other spells that he picked up along the way from a different class's spell list. And he is going to cast Maelstrom on the ground behind him in this room. A mass of 5 foot deep water magically appears and swirls in a 30-foot radius centered on a point you can see within the range of 120 feet. Until the spell ends, which is concentration up to 1 minute, that area is difficult terrain, which means that that's halved movement speed, and any creature that starts its turn there must succeed on a strength saving throw or take 6d6 bludgeoning damage and be pulled 10 feet towards the center.
Okay.
If these fellas try to join or get in there.
Okay. And as you are getting ready to cast that right on them, you see a glowing light arcing towards you. And you feel 5 magic missiles strike into you for a total of 19 points of damage.
Oof! I am so small and those magic missiles are so big!
And you see another robed figure rushing towards you.
I feel good about my choice of using a 5th level spell here!
And you put up the wall of water, and those behind you are, if they don't stop in time, will be absorbed into that. And so you and Shiloh can make a break for it.
Yes, indeed.
All right, and so you all are running, and you get back to that stairwell, and now you have a choice. You either run towards where you saw or where you suspect the front of the restaurant was, or you have to climb the several flights of stairs. You figure it was probably about another 125 flights of stairs to get back to the airfield.
Yeah. I got a couple... Look, I'm pretty bad off, but I got a couple strong spells left in me in case there's any trouble at the restaurant. I think we need to breach fresh air as soon as possible. What do you think, Shiloh?
I agree. And he is heavily panting, and that would be the shorter distance.
Let's book it.
Okay, so instead of going up the stairs, you continue on, and there are tunnels to the left and the right. You hear noise, and you see various streams and culverts that are carved to carry away waste and water, and you see aqueducts as you are running forward through these tunnels that are getting narrower and splitting off and branching into different parts of the city. And this main path is leading you to this restaurant. And you burst into the back room, and there in the middle of the room is a pile of rancid, dead animals that have been left there to drive away any snoopers or anybody trying to come in there. And the smell is horrible. So both of roll me a Constitution check, and I'll roll one for Shiloh.
That is
Shiloh.
an 18.
Shiloh fails it and starts barfing his guts out. You do fine. And so Shiloh is trying to keep up with you and pull you along, all the while just spewing chunks, what's left of his lunch. The smell
I pat him on
is
the back with Mage Hand.
The smell is horrendous, and you hear something in the room.
Perception check time. That's a 15.
And you hear something very large in the room. Something with clacking mandibles.
Perhaps of the centipede variety.
Let's go the other direction.
Or is that possible? I'm not.
You can go back. You can go back the direction you came. You are now in the back of what you would assume is the restaurant. You can see light around where the wood is nailed over the carved stone windows and the carved stone door. This is a very large room. It's about 100 feet square, not square, but 100 feet per side, so 1,000 feet square. In the middle of the room is a pile of dead meat, and there is something large crawling on it.
Oh, I see. I thought maybe I was like, there's like a clackety monster in the next room, like maybe the front room of the restaurant, or...
Well, this is one big room that has been carved out. There are about 10 pillars holding up the ceiling, and it's about 1,000 square foot room, 100 feet on each side. There is room for what looks like it could be a kitchen and wood stove over to your right, and there are various tables and shelves over to the left that look like it would be a bar, and there are stacked tables over in the corner and around the sides of the room. But the room has been cleared out, and it looks like piles of dead things have been piled in the middle, and there is something very large crawling on it.
Shiloh, do you think we can take that thing if we need to get out of here? Or should we try to sneak around? Poor dude. He's not looking good.
He's feeling pretty green here. We can't go back the other way. There's too many of them. Let's take our chances. There only seems to be one of these, whatever it is.
All right. I'm gonna try to do a perception check just to see if I can make out that this is definitely like a monster of some kind that I need to be attacking before attacking it.
Okay. Roll me a nature knowledge or survival.
Gotcha. That is, let's see. With a survival check, that's a 16.
Okay. In the dim light, you can make out something that looks like a giant centipede that has these very large mandibles, but it also has kind of like tentacles around its face, around its mouth, and a number of legs along its body, and it is hissing at you and getting ready to come towards you. And so you have a moment to decide before you have to roll initiative.
Yeah, I think I've seen some sort of illustration like this beast in a player's handbook, some monster manual somewhere. I'd like to. This is a fight that we will fight it. I imagine since it's seen me, I don't get any kind of round of combat here. I can't just say I'm gonna hit it.
I'll give you a surprise attack because you all rushed into the room.
Cool. I'm going to cast, let's see, 3rd level Thunder Wave. So that is, because it's 2, that's, yes, it's going to need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay, what does it have to be?
DC 16.
It rolls a 19.
Let's see. That's going to need half as much damage, and it is not pushed, though all unsecure objects within the area of effect are automatically pushed 10 feet away from me. Also, this spell emits a thunderous boom audible out to 300 feet. So let's see, 4d8 in half. It might divided by 2. That is 6 points of damage. Pretty easy.
Okay. And that boom goes and it rattles the plywood over the windows and the doors. And Shiloh attacks as well and hits for 2d8 plus 8. And that is nearly max damage for 20 points of damage.
Whoopee!
It is knocked back 10 feet. The pile of offal and body parts is splattered across the wall or across the floor towards the far end of the room. And now roll initiative.
That is a 5.
The carrion crawler rolled a 12. You rolled a 5. And Shiloh rolled a 20. Okay, so Shiloh is going to do another slash and does 14 points of damage, and this creature is not looking good. And so now it is going to come at you. Actually, it's going to
little guy.
It's going to come at Shiloh because Shiloh hit it last. And it hits Shiloh with an 18, and that is poisoned. He is poisoned, and he is paralyzed. Okay, and it is now... and he gets one more attack on Shiloh. And hits with an 18, and with a tentacle attack, and... but he's paralyzed, so that's an automatic critical. And
Shiloh, no.
That is max damage. That is 12 points. Shiloh is hurt, but he's not. But if he gets attacked again, all right, it is your turn.
All right, I am going to attempt to assault this beast. Oh wait, no, this. Man, I have so many area of effect attacks.
Well, it's right on top of Shiloh. It's bit him and
so I do not
smacked
want that
him around.
So I want him to be away from Shiloh. So I am going to cast. Wait, I guess no. I have a better spell than that. I'm going to cast Dissonant Whispers. I hold out my megaphone and I say, "You are a stink face, and you are stinky, and also, you smell bad!" I guess that would be more accurate flavor text for Vicious Mockery, but you do what you can. It needs to beat a 16 Wisdom saving throw, and I'm going to cast this at second level.
Okay. And it rolls a 10.
That is a failed save.
Yes, it is.
It's going to take 4d6 psychic damage, which is 12. And it must immediately use its reaction to move as far as its speed allows away from you.
Okay. And so it moves as far away from you, but that puts it right at the doors, the boarded up doors. But it is not looking good.
Whoopee! And that is the end of Lil Reggie Macdougal's turn.
Okay. And right then, the door, the plywood door is ripped off, and you see some city guards standing in the doorway, pulling the wood off as that carrion crawler has moved towards it, towards the door as you knocked it back or it ran away from you. And they come in, fellas? And they just lay into it and cut it up into pieces. And what are you going to do?
Boy, am I glad to see you, gentlemen.
And they come running towards you, gagging. One of the guards pukes on the smell, and they're yelling at you, what's going on? They see Shiloh, and they grab the two of you, and they pull you out of there as quickly as possible.
Yes, let's discuss this in a more olfactory-friendly setting.
Reggie trusting the city guard, Reggie catches them up on the fact that he was investigating the magic district incident that led him underneath the city, and he found some nasty cultists there.
And that is where we are going to end this episode. Join us next time as our stalwart band of adventurers come to the city of Jormungand to deal with this problem. Thank you, Izzy. Thank you for playing tonight.
And I should say that Reggie Macdougal does make sure to specifically let the city guard know that these cultists, they're worshipping this junk face called Danaf Cool. Just so that Reggie's efforts were not in vain.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for enjoying the swan song of this fascinating one-off character.
Well, this character may appear as an NPC in future episodes. I like it.
Actually, yeah, the maiden voyage is probably the better
Yeah, there you go.
term of
The maiden
this
voyage. The
little guy.
investigative debut.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for following us. Thank you all for joining us. We're glad to scratch your itch for role-playing and fantasy and all the adventure you can handle. You can find us at chafingarmor.com and on our wiki. You'll see links on our page, as well as on Instagram, YouTube, any podcatcher that you can find, as well as at patreon.com/chafingarmor. We would love for you to come and join us, where we provide you with lots of extra content. Your small donation and support each month will make it possible that we can keep this podcast advertisement free, and we will provide you with lots of extra content. Thank you all. Have a good night, Izzy.
Good night, everyone.